How's it going, everybody? Swagkage here, and welcome to another versus battle video. Today we're going to be talking about Sasuke versus Madara, and anybody who's been watching my videos for a while should know that I'm pretty excited about this, because these are my two favorite characters in the whole series. Another reason in particular that I'm looking forward to uploading this is whenever I make a versus battle video, no matter who it includes and no matter who wins, I always get told every single time that the reason whoever won came out on top is because of my own personal bias. You only let this person win because you like them more than the other one. That whole type deal. And I mean, like, I'm a hype beast for both Sasuke and Madara, so if you don't like how this video turns out, I mean, like, I don't know what to tell you, dude, but it definitely isn't because I'm biased for or against either one of them. Anyway, moving on to the battle itself. I'm gonna structure it like I do my other versus battle videos, where we take both characters, look at versions of them from different points in time, match these corresponding forms against one another, then move on and do the same. One thing I should point out for this battle in particular, though, is because there are no feats for any form of Madara that comes before Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Madara, like the only points of reference we have are for the Madara that fought Hashirama in the Valley of the End, and everything after that, I'm gonna have to exclude a lot of forms of Sasuke, because, like, I don't want to go matching up heavy Sasuke against somebody who can use the perfect Susanoo, and since Madara doesn't have any known counterparts to heavy Sasuke, like with feats comparable to his or whatever, I'm just gonna stick with the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan forms of both characters and anything that comes after. So for round one, I've got Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke fighting Edo Tensei Madara. And as much as I'd like to say that this is an interesting battle where both competitors put up a decent fight, it's not even close. Madara rips Sasuke in half, and I wouldn't be able to debate otherwise to save my life. Let's compare their Susanoo first. So Sasuke Susanoo, it's pretty big. It's like 10 times as tall as he is, has the big old bow, good stuff. But Madara's Susanoo is really big. As a matter of fact, after taking a look at his, Sasuke's doesn't really look all that large anymore. And now this is really important, because since Sasuke's, like, ultimate strongest jutsu is just a weaker version of Madara's, it's, like, really hard to argue that he comes out on top here, or even that he'd pose a challenge. But just to be generous, let's say we restrict use of the perfect Susanoo for this battle. Madara has access to everything else, but he just can't use perfect Susanoo, just to give Sasuke a little bit more of a chance here. I mean, Sasuke still doesn't do anything. Madara has unlimited chakra, he can do everything with the Susanoo that Sasuke can, and he can also create wood clones that can just pull the Susanoo out on their own. So, I mean, while Sasuke might have one Susanoo, Madara can drop at least 25, and then there's all the Rinnegan shenanigans he can pull off, like absorbing jutsu, creating big ol' force fields that can launch people away, pulling people towards him with telekinesis, firing missiles and laser beams, sucking people's souls out, creating mini floating black holes that suck up everything around them and suspend them in the air. And last but not least, summoning gigantic meteors. Plural, by the way, because he can summon 2 at once. So if by some miracle Sasuke manages to stop the first one, a second one would follow suit pretty quickly and would crush him to death without resistance. I mean, the most powerful stuff that Sasuke has at his disposal, like Kirin, the Susanoo, the Amaterasu. Madara has counters to all of it. He could absorb both Kirin and Amaterasu, and his Susanoo would be more than capable of dealing with Sasuke's, especially because, like I mentioned earlier, he can create wood clones which can use their own Susanoo. Speaking of wood clones, Madara also has wood release, which also means he's capable of altering the terrain at any given moment, which can generate all sorts of different advantages for him. So, next up is EMS Sasuke versus Alive Madara, not the Alive Madara that was brought back with Rinne Tensei, but Madara before he even died in the first place, the one that fought Hashirama in the Valley of the End with Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. So, this is sort of the same deal as the last fight, in the sense that Sasuke loses really badly if I don't restrict Madara's use of the perfect Susanoo, and I mean, maybe some of you think I'm exaggerating on that, or overstating that, or whatever, but I mean, there's really nothing Sasuke could do about this ability that gives Madara a sword that can cut the tops of mountains off. Also, this Madara has something else that needs to be restricted, and that is his ability to summon the Nine Tails. Don't get me wrong, I know Sasuke is strong, like really strong, but he is not strong enough to fight the full-powered Kyuubi, especially not at the same time as he's fighting fucking Madara Uchiha. So, no Nine Tails and no perfect Susanoo, otherwise Sasuke gets annihilated. So if you restrict both of those things, then it's like, well, okay, the match becomes a little less clear-cut. But there's one line from Hashirama that a lot of people bring up when discussing Valley of the End Alive Madara in versus battles, and that's when Hashirama says he's regaining his former strength shortly after Madara's revival with the Rinne Tensei, as if to imply that living Madara without the Rinnegan, without Wood Release, without Sage Mode was stronger than Edo Tensei Madara was. There are multiple ways you could look at this. Perhaps it's possible that even considering this, Edo Tensei Madara could still beat living Madara in a fight, given all of the new things he has at his disposal. Maybe he's an overall better ninja, but regardless, Hashirama's statement means that living Madara is physically much more powerful than Edo Madara is. So Sasuke doesn't really have much of a chance in Taijutsu here, I don't think. Again, he's strong, but Madara ran through the entire 4th division while weakened by Edo Tensei and dominated them in hand-to-hand combat. I mean, we don't know what Madara's Mangekyo Sharingan abilities are, so maybe Amaterasu and Enton Kagetsuchi could give Sasuke the edge here. Maybe the fact that his Susanoo has a ranged weapon in the form of the crossbow, that might give him an advantage here, but there's just too much going against him. I mean, Madara's got better fire jutsu feats, better hand-to-hand combat feats. I mean, the guy fought Hashirama at full power, and I mean, I know we're restricting the Nine Tails and his perfect Susanoo here, but if that's the case, I feel like we should also prevent Sasuke from summoning Aota. This is the snake that he made a summoning contract with after Manda died. Anyway, if we don't hit Sasuke with this restriction, then maybe it's possible that he might be able to beat Madara. I mean, it's kind of tough to say because there aren't a whole lot of panels showing us the fight between Madara and Hashirama, or just the stuff that Madara did before he was revived in general. And since I'm restricting both the perfect Susanoo and the Kyuubi, which did take up a lot of Madara's panel time during Hashirama's flashbacks, it's really hard to say. The audience isn't given enough info about pre-Edo Madara's abilities for me to make a call under these specific circumstances. My educated guess would be to say that Madara still beat Sasuke because, I mean, they actually did fight under similar conditions when Madara was first brought back with the Rinne Tensei. Madara was completely blind, and while he did have Sage Mode, he was able to effortlessly avoid all of Sasuke's attacks. And while Sage Mode does give its user a massive buff to both reaction time and their ability to analyze their opponent's movements, the Sharingan does the same thing, albeit not as efficiently. Now that said, I don't think the discrepancy is great enough to make up for the clear difference in physical ability between Sasuke and Madara shown here, especially considering Madara was much more experienced with using the Sharingan than he was with using Sage Mode at this point. So like I said, while I'm aware that the buff isn't as large, I think the Mangekyo Sharingan would allow him to avoid attacks from Sasuke under these conditions, even if he does face a little bit of difficulty when trying to do so. Next round is EMS Sasuke versus Rinne Tensei Alive Madara, so the one that had Hashirama Sage Mode, one Rinnegan, you know, that one. You guys know the one. And, I mean, I just mentioned this, so the outcome should be pretty obvious, but this already happened, and Madara beat Sasuke up really badly. He dodged all of his attacks, and the fight ended with Madara holding Sasuke up with one of his Limbo clones, taking Sasuke's sword, stabbing him through the heart with it. It was really brutal. Sasuke didn't stand a chance, and so, yeah, Madara takes this one because he actually won. Next round is Rinnegan Sage of Six Paths Chakra Sasuke versus Jubi Madara, but not like full power Jubi Madara, and not even one Rinnegan Jubi Madara, but one Rinnegan pre-World Tree Jubi Madara. So this is the Jubi Madara that fought 8th Gate Guy, the one that Sage of Six Paths Naruto beat up before he entered his Kyuubi Chakra mode. Now, if Madara's fight with Naruto was any indication, he'd probably lose lose here because Naruto and Sasuke were pretty close together in terms of strength. Now, Naruto was significantly more powerful. This is made pretty clear if you read the fight with Kaguya, and if you even read the fight between Naruto and Sasuke, because Sasuke attacked Naruto with killer intent, and Naruto was holding back to make sure he didn't kill Sasuke, and the two were still evenly matched. Basically, I'm just trying to say that I'm not saying Rinnegan Sasuke is just as strong as Sage of Six Paths Naruto is, but he's in the same ballpark, and because of how much stronger Naruto clearly was than Madara in this fight, I'm probably just gonna give it to Sasuke without getting into too much detail. I mean, Sasuke even managed to blitz a nearly full power Jubi Jinchuriki Madara. He only had one of his Rinnegan, but I mean, I can't see any reason why that would affect his movement speed, especially because he wasn't looking at Sasuke when the blitz happened. But he had absorbed the World Tree at this point, and yeah, Sasuke just came up right behind him and cut him in half from behind. It was pretty crazy. Not to mention, Sasuke can teleport, and he got a couple good hits in against World Tree absorbed Madara, so bearing that in mind, I think Sasuke takes this. You know, he's got access to the perfect Susanoo now. He has all of Madara's crazy Rinnegan abilities. I mean, Madara still has his Six-Path Sage mode and Hashirama's Wood Cells, but in terms of raw power, Sasuke should outclass him here. At this point, he can also see Madara's Limbo clone, which makes it a lot easier for him to deal with it. He won't be getting picked up by surprise and stabbed through the heart again, that's for sure. I mean, there are still a lot of ways that Madara could possibly take it, but I see Sasuke winning the majority of the fights here. This is a little bit hard to talk about without getting into the next round, so let's just jump to that. And hopefully by the end of that round, I'll have addressed everything I needed to this round. The next round is Rinnegan Six Paths Chakra Sasuke versus World Tree Absorbed 1 Rinnegan Madara. So it's not full power double Rinnegan Madara, it's just the Madara with his 1 Rinnegan. He's absorbed the World Tree. This is the one that fought both Naruto and Sasuke at the same time. This is probably the closest fight in the whole video. It's also one of the hardest to talk about because there's not a lot of source material to draw from. Madara's fight against Naruto and Sasuke only lasts about the length of a chapter, and that's also the only fight that he spins in this form in particular. Now, everybody knows how much I like Madara, so this might come as a surprise to some of you, but Naruto and Sasuke kinda took a big ol' poop on him in this fight. Again, I know that's probably weird for some of you to hear me say, but I mean it. Naruto and Sasuke beat him up kinda badly. Now, it is pretty easy to argue that Madara only did so poorly because he was trying to figure out what Naruto and Sasuke were capable of at this point. I mean, they did get these massive power boosts out of nowhere. Not to mention they had access to all sorts of crazy new abilities. Naruto could fly, Sasuke could teleport, both of them could track his Limbo clones. There's a lot of stuff that Madara needed to take in here, and I don't think it's being unfair to say that maybe he was only at a temporary disadvantage because, like I said, he was trying to figure out what he was up against. There's a possibility that maybe he would have done better if he had gone into the fight with full intel. But at the same time, Naruto and Sasuke went up against Madara practically blind. They had no idea what he could do. As a matter of fact, this was the first time that both of them saw him in Six Paths Sage mode. So I don't think it'd be entirely honest of me to say, oh yeah, Madara was just holding back, or he was caught off guard, or whatever. Like, I mean, it's pretty clear that he wasn't significantly stronger than both of them at any rate. Sasuke specifically accomplishes some pretty impressive stuff in the fight too. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, he blitzes Madara from behind, and I mean, like, okay, here's the thing. It's not like he catches Madara off guard, or he moves at full speed and Madara doesn't. Like, he was on his way to go get his other Rinnegan back, so you'd assume that he'd make a beeline towards Kakashi as fast as possible. And still, Sasuke came right up behind him and sliced him in half. And it's also worth mentioning that Sasuke was able to analyze Madara's max speed pretty effectively. There's a point during the fight where Madara charges straight at Sasuke with the intent of taking one of his eyes, and at the perfect moment, Sasuke uses his Rinnegan ability to switch places with his sword, causing it to impale Madara. This sort of well-timed teleportation wouldn't be possible if Sasuke couldn't read Madara's movements effectively. So not only has he shown that he is physically faster than Madara at this point, he's also able to react to most of Madara's attacks with ease. Again, you could potentially argue that maybe Madara was holding back, but there's nothing throughout the chapter that supports this idea. The answer to this one is pretty up in the air. While Sasuke has clearly demonstrated that he is stronger and faster than Madara is, he doesn't have the same variety in his arsenal as Madara does. Madara has Wood Release, all of the Six Paths Sage mode powers, the Truth-Seeking Orbs, not to mention he has his Limbo Shadow helping him out, and he can also create clones at any point in time. Madara is also able to use Izanagi if absolutely necessary, something that Sasuke has never shown he's able to do. So it's a question of, can Madara's versatility utility deal with Sasuke's raw power? And I don't really know the answer to that one, but it comes down to one important factor. If Madara was actually holding back during his battle against Naruto and Sasuke, then it's pretty likely that he'd be able to beat Sasuke in a one-on-one fight. However, if he wasn't, and if he really did get the snot kicked out of him by both of them working together, then it's very possible, and honestly kind of likely, that Sasuke could take the fight instead. Now, moving on to the next round, I'll keep this brief. It's Rinnegan Sasuke versus double Rinnegan Madara, and honestly, Sasuke loses pretty hard here. Obito explains that the pair of Rinnegan is much stronger as a unit than both are individually. So Madara's visual prowess and everything that he can pull off with the Rinnegan in general, it's just improved heavily. And I mean, plus at this point, he has 4 Limbo Shadows, not just one. Not to mention, we don't even know what his Mangekyo Sharingan powers are. So regular Six Paths Chakra Rinnegan Sasuke loses, and he loses pretty handily. Madara would take it mid to low diff. But the final round that I have in mind, this one's pretty interesting. It is triple Rinnegan Madara, like the one with both of his Rinnegan and the Rinne Sharingan on his forehead, versus full maximum power Biju Chakra absorbed Sasuke. So the Sasuke that sealed all the Biju with Chibaku Tensei and absorbed their chakra during the fight against Naruto. It made his Susanoo look super crazy and also gave him a very clear edge in the battle against Naruto. We haven't seen enough of what either character can do for me to make a call here, so everything I say after this is practically headcanon. Sasuke used one attack after he absorbed the Biju chakra, and Madara did his little Chibaku Tensei meteor shower and then used the infinite Tsukuyomi, and then that's all he did before Zetsu stabbed him. So neither of them have any feats or frame of reference. Who wins would just be an educated guess on my part. I don't think the Limbo clones will be a huge deal for Sasuke because he was able to handle Naruto's shadow clones pretty easily. And it wasn't just like regular size Naruto. It wasn't him in base. It was like full power Kurama Avatar 6-path Sage mode shadow clones that he was taking care of. They all rushed him at the same time and they couldn't do anything. That said, Naruto was attempting to overpower Sasuke with brute force, and Madara has countless hacks and weird abilities at his disposal. So rushing Sasuke with a bunch of invisible clones from another plane of reality, I mean, maybe it'll put him in more of a disadvantage than Naruto's shadow clones. But I just thought that was worth mentioning because that's the only real insight I have into the fight. My gut's telling me to go with Madara solely because Kishimoto said himself he had no idea how to get rid of the guy. But I mean, based on hard on-panel facts, it's kind of impossible to say. Now, this is the part where I would get into adult Sasuke versus Jubi Jinchuriki double Rinnegan, Rinne Sharingan Madara, but my buddy Seth the programmer has a video, or is uploading a video depending on when I post this, over on his channel. So if you want to get a full video dedicated to these two forms of Madara and Sasuke duking it out, head over to Seth's channel or just click the link in the description. I'll make sure to leave it down there. But yeah, that's everything I have to say for this video. So if you have any future versus battles you want me to cover, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this battle in the comments as well. Thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. Make sure you have a great rest of the day, and until my next video, I'll talk to you later. Swag Kage out. Bye.